Hello everyone, Unis 20. It is, it's Monday, 9:20. And we're back to this that I never want to stop. You know, sometimes I think to myself I regret streaming it, because I just want to keep playing it. And it's just more convenient for me to just play it, but I did this with Asteria, so I figured for Berseria at least I'll stream through the main story, because it's fun. So I'm like, well, I've committed, so I have to now.
Take a look at this.
Oh wow, I left for a day and you guys just get your butts kicked, huh?
Scout ship setting sail.
But yes, I said I wasn't going to stream over the weekend and I wound up doing it. I did a stream on Saturday. I think it was around like 2 o'clock to 5 o'clock, something like that. We got through the dungeon we woke up in after the Earth Pulse. We got with Eleanor. We covered, we went through the mines and also that big ravine valley area. We met Kurogane, we fought Shigure twice, so he bailed. And now we had the Von Eltia back and we're heading to Ysult to find Morgrim, who is, what's her name? Magilu's friend that can hopefully help us translate the book that we have. So off to Ysult we go. Easy peasy. I'm sure nothing bad will happen on our way over there. I actually don't know, so.
I gotta say, you guys look less like pirates and more like a circus troupe.
That's what I was gonna say. I mean, it makes sense. We do.
Are you alright with having demons on board, Benwick?
Not remotely an issue. If you're aboard this ship of misfits, you're a pirate. That's just our creed. At least, that's what the captain and the first mate always say.
Speaking of the captain, what's Ifried like?
Let's see. How do I put it? He's like if the sea were a person, and that person had a pointy beard.
Huh. A bearded sea?
Look, everybody on this ship is an outcast from society in some way. Despite that, Captain Ifried accepted us for who we are, and took us all on board.
So he's a kind man.
Well, would you say that the sea is kind? How would it feel to dive in with an open wound?
It would sting. A lot.
Quite so. Some days he's calm and steady, and others he rages. He can be shallow, deep, even a whirlpool.
Sounds like he's a little scary and hard to read.
Yeah, sometimes it's hard to serve him, but that air of mystery keeps us around and makes us want to take those jumps. At the end of the day, the dread pirate Van Ifried is one hell of a guy.
He sounds like Velvet in a lot of ways.
Wait, what? How so? I didn't describe him right at all, did I?
Benwick, we're changing course at once for Port Reneed.
Sir? What's going on?
3 of our men have collapsed from the Corsair Scourge. They first showed symptoms 3 days ago. How are you holding up?
I'm still doing all right. But if this really started 3 days ago, that means we're all carrying it, doesn't it?
That's what I'm afraid of. But if we head straight to Port Reneed, we should be able to get medicine there.
I'll check on everyone's condition.
Make sure everyone stays hydrated, including yourself, understand?
Sir, yes sir. All hands, assume emergency positions.
The crew's holding up well for a bunch of folks at death's door.
What do you mean? Is this Corsair Scourge fatal?
Quite. No one knows what causes it, but it starts with a high fever and ends up with the body falling apart like sand.
Like sand?
Once, there was a great band of pirates who ruled the seas, but the disease spread through their ships and killed every one of them. That's why it's called the Corsair Scourge.
Does that mean we've been infected as well?
You humans, for sure.
Only humans fall prey to the Corsair Scourge.
Then it could have gotten to you too. Right, Moggy Lou?
Oh, right! Alas, that my glorious saga should meet such an ignominious end!
I can't allow our vessel to die from this. If you start to feel ill, speak up.
I will.
All right, we'll all be helping out in the search. Everyone but Eleanor, that is.
Huh? Oh, why does she get to stay? I might be dying too, you know.
You're a witch. Magic yourself healthy. Now quit whining and get going.
Oh, not even a witch is safe from the ravages of the Reaper's curse!
The Reaper's curse?
Oh, when he said change course, I wasn't expecting to double back. Oh, that's rough. We made negative progress towards Ysult.
Okay, where's the herbalist? If I remember right, the Corsair's Scourge needs a particularly special medicine.
Yeah, it's a wildflower called Salatoma. Its juice can cure the Corsair's Scourge.
Doesn't sound too tricky.
Let's not relax until we have it in hand.
Right. Now let's get going.
Hold on a minute. Won't you just be spreading the disease if everyone wanders into town?
Surprisingly, no. For whatever reason, you can only catch it over the ocean waves. It's speculated it might have something to do with the salt in the air, or maybe the microbes in the seawater.
Nobody knows the cause for sure, but there are no recorded cases of people catching it on land.
I see. A strange affliction indeed.
We'll be back soon. You all remain on the ship.
All right. Good luck out there, sir.
We've got to hurry.
Salatoma. Is this really going to be necessary? What do you mean, Eleanor? Oh, nothing. It's just, well, the herb is known to work well for fevers and the like, but it tastes bad. So bad. Some say it would even bring a demon to the brink of tears. Maybe so. But better to drink it than to die, right? Oh, I'm not worried. It just reminded me of stories from my childhood is all.
Oh gosh, I forgot all about that. Reneed, Waterside. I remember this village. If I remember correctly, there's a side quest here to activate for a Laphicet, I believe. And completing it got you a Laphicet specific achievement, or trophy. That's the same. I think everybody has one of those. I don't know if I got all 6 of them, though. I forget what they're tied to, but it's stuff you can find on the overworld. I think Eisen also had one that tied in with Phoenix, I believe was his name.
That Rokuro, always telling all of us except Eleanor to work harder. Doesn't he realize that I'm a delicate maiden
Not at
too?
all.
This is workplace discrimination. I should
Magic
put him on a
yourself
witch trial
healthy.
and burn him at the stake.
I don't think that's how witch trials work.
What's wrong, Eleanor? You look like you've got something on your mind.
I'm just trying to figure out what Rokuro was thinking. When I had Lord Shigure at the end of my spear, Rokuro threw his dagger right at my head. I thought I was dead for sure. I feel like I saw who he truly was, and it frightens me. But he and Lord Shigure are always trying to kill each other. I can't understand why he did what he did.
It might have something to do with his Bushido code.
What's Bushido? Is that like a sword fighter's code?
It's a way of thinking. Be loyal to your lord. Respect your parents. Protect the weak. And act with honor.
You're saying that he was following this Bushido code, and he was protecting me because I was weak?
He might have turned into a demon, but his memories and personality are still intact. I doubt his moral values have disappeared either.
Do you really think he believes in that Bushido stuff? Carving through his enemies with a cruel and unsparing sword! Slash! Pow! Shazam! That's the true nature of a Rangetsu man! I heard that when Velvet first met him, he immediately attacked her without any provocation. I'm sure you haven't already forgotten how he turned his swords on the kid in that fight against Kurogane.
I wouldn't read too much into what Magilu's saying. Rokuro lives for his sword, And that's just who he is.
But I don't think he's all that bad.
I thought you were the one who called him frightening.
I know I said he can be a scary person, but how do I put it? I do feel there's more to him than just wanting to cut people up. It's like he's more sensitive to other people's emotions than he might seem to be at first glance. A sword fighter has to sense his opponents on some level, right?
For a crazed demon, he's actually a nice guy. Is that it?
Maybe. I don't know. It's not like I know him well enough to claim any deep personal insight or anything.
You brought it up.
Rokuro is a nice guy. I keep wanting to say he's like the friendliest of the group, but I forget that Laffy said is here.
A bit ago, a manacled body got caught in my nets.
Manacled? A prisoner?
You too? Yesterday, my nets pulled up an arm. Manacles, even a brand on that one. I really can't take this anymore. I'm losing my appetite, and it's bad for my heart.
You said it. Judging by the tides, they would have to have come from that prison island. Is it really just a prison?
You think it's strange, too? I've suspected something about that place for a while now. They say the whole island is a prison, but if you ask me, I bet it's just an execution ground.
Or it's for experimenting on demons.
Experimenting? What do you mean?
Testing the demons' capabilities. That's why they need prisoners. Food for the monsters.
Not a bad theory.
Just kidding! There's no way the Abbey would do something that horrible, right?
You sure think of some crazy ideas. I bet all of this is the work of some vicious pirate gang.
Yeah, something like that.
That guy. He's pretty sharp.
Now that you mention it, I haven't seen any patrol ships around there recently. Used to be they'd chase you off if you got too close.
You know, you're right. If there are pirates about, it'll mean trouble unless the Abbey tightens up their patrols.
The best we can do is keep a wide berth of it for now. We wouldn't want pirates and demons sneaking up on us.
I think we'd notice if pirates or demons were around. No way they'd catch us unawares.
I can't tell if he's sharp or dull as a brick.
I was about to say something similar. Wow, these guys talked a lot. Yeah, freaking Velvet's like, not a bad... I mean, he wasn't wrong entirely about that part, but then he doubled back on it like, nah, that could never happen. Oh, really? There's no treasure chest here? Interesting. What's this? This is an inn? Oh, no, it's the storehouse. Of course, every freaking port has a storehouse. There's actually a lot less to do in these, and I can never... Every time I enter a storehouse in Tales, all I could think about is the Abyss ones with the, the tasks that they had inside. Like, it was block puzzles. The warehouses in Tales of the Abyss were block puzzles, where you had a certain number of blocks, a bunch of empty holes around. You had to slide them around in a way to fill in the holes and get all the treasures. I think I was only able to do maybe the first two on my own, but for all the other ones I had to resort to guides because I'm just like, it's complicated. My brain hurts.
That's an interesting
Where?
bridge.
This bridge has a bit of history to it. Port Reneed was originally built here on this inlet. The water's deep enough for ships, but as you can see, it's a bit too narrow for a port. Large ships couldn't come close without a top-rate crew, so Port Reneed was used almost exclusively by smaller ships.
What about the Von Eltia?
We're the best of the best. We came and went as we pleased.
So your point is you wanted to brag.
Hey, let me finish. The people wanted their town to grow, so they built an outer harbor for large ships, and this bridge to connect to it.
Uh-huh. So that's why the port and the town are separate.
But there's more. We secretly helped provide the funds and resources for them to build it.
So you are bragging.
And did this bridge bring prosperity to Port Reneed?
No. The Abbey began regulating shipping and travel, right about the time the town finished building the outer port. If only the seas had remained free, Port Reneed would have developed into a center for commerce and trade.
I suppose things don't always go as planned.
Then again, even if Port Reneed became a bustling port, we still would have no trouble slipping in or out.
I'm not biting this time.
He really just... Okay, I have no clue when I just muted my mic for the skit. I thought I unmuted it, but I guess I didn't. Whatever, all I was saying was that I thought Eisen was funny.
I heard that a swarm of demons
He was
attacked the
absolutely
palace
bragging.
and killed the high priest.
No way! Isn't the palace the most heavily guarded place in the world? How did the exorcist let that happen?
Bad news really does travel fast.
They say that the demons were disguised as humans, but were actually enormous monsters, twice the size of any man. They had razor-sharp horns and 3 burning eyes. They could take over your mind just by glaring at you.
If the demons were that terrible, no wonder the exorcist couldn't deal with them.
Some rumors say they escaped. Some say a legate took them down in a climactic battle. But no one knows the truth. We should be ready to run in case they show up.
Is the world falling apart? Will the bad times return again?
A horned giant with 3 eyes, huh? Velvet, you're one scary lady.
They said swarm, so they were talking about you, too.
Yes, are the bad times coming? Is it chaos? Okay, I don't know why I talked to her. If I was just gonna skip it. I just think that's amusing that she would ask that for reasons I will get into later. I actually can't wait to get to that part of the game. When I got to that part of the game the first time, I was like, oh. I mean, to some extent, I should know that that's where this game was gonna go. But actually getting there was quite a shock. In a really good way. And also a really bad way. What do you do? Oh yeah, I remember this game. Yeah, okay, I remember that one. I played it a few times. I think I was pretty decent at it. But like... probably a 50-50. I would say more realistically, I probably had a 50-50 chance with that game. Let's try to remember character card. Like, oh right, it's the one where the all the cards are different characters from different Tales of games.
I know I'm repeating
And there's like a
myself,
weird
but
matching
that's
thing
just
going on.
not possible.
But the High Priest hasn't been seen since then. How do you explain that? I heard some people from the capital say that he might have been attacked by demons.
The Abbey's trying to cover it up, but the truth is getting out.
The security at the palace is better than anywhere else. Demons breaking in? Inconceivable.
But what if a whole horde assailed the castle?
The exorcists guarding the palace are elite, the best of the best. Horde or not, they couldn't have gotten in.
But what if they were some sort of giant demons? No matter how elite the guards may be, they'd have trouble against something like that.
If giant demons appeared in the capital, there'd be an uproar. I understand your concerns, but please remain calm and trust us. Panic and confusion is just what the demons want. They'll use it to slip into this very town.
Well, we know that, but still.
It looks like rumors from the capital are spreading.
The more chaos there is here, the easier it'll be for us to move around.
Yep, everybody's so busy worrying about demons, they don't see the demons right behind them. Good times. Hello, sir. Also, before I ended off after I ended off my last stream, I did some more weapon and equipment management.
We're looking for Salatoma flowers.
Well, now, that's an order I don't get every day. It's not for the Corsair's Scourge, by any chance.
The very same. Some of our crew developed fever 3 days ago. I want to take care of it as quickly as possible.
Understandable, but unfortunately, I'm out of stock right now.
How can you be out of stock? The flower's in season, isn't it?
It is, but not too long ago, a demon appeared in Warg Forest, where we harvested. And now the Abbey won't let anyone inside.
They what? Why haven't they exterminated the demon?
From what little I've heard, they've had trouble tracking the thing. 100 people go in, maybe only one will actually come across the beast.
If it's so rare, then what's the danger?
Because nobody who's encountered it has come back alive.
First the Corsair's Scourge, then no medicine, the Abbey, and a mysterious demon. Never a dull moment with the Reaper's curse, eh?
I could try to order some from other towns, but if you're already on day 3, you might not make it in time.
But if we go to the Warg Forest, the Salatoma will be in bloom, correct?
Right, but the demon...
We're going to the forest.
I feel like most of these NPCs don't have working eyes. Like, look at this crew. Like, if there's anyone who says, yeah, we're gonna go fight it, and then you look at all of them individually, you're like, Yeah, they probably stand a good chance. At the very least, just look at at the most. I mean, Velvet Eyes and Rokuro definitely carry that appearance, and then Magilu and Eleanor probably less so. They'll probably look at Laphicet and be confused, if anything. But he's hanging with us, so he must be doing something right. Oh, great, giant Orcman.
You'll be rust on my blade. But I'm this close. I won't miss. Form zero.
Dang, that's a lot of damage. Oh, I thought I missed. I was like, whoa, that was way too far. Glad I got it.
You're not hurt, are you?
No, I'm fine.
There we go, level up. Oh, shoot. Didn't even notice that thing was chasing me. Okay, I got knocked too far back. Oh yeah, that's Slag Assault. Cool. And I got the demi-human.
This fight is over.
I changed equipment. A guardian that seems vaguely feline. Lulu doll. I changed equipment for Magilu and Eleanor to be not the most effective on purpose. If that makes sense. The like they have what I considered, to my standards, the best armor on for certain slots. But I realized that the game keeps track of the skills that the characters master from the armor, because every armor piece has a skill that once you fight in battles enough with that armor piece equipped, the skill becomes mastered. And the game actually has a chart that keeps track of all the different skills that all the characters have individually mastered. And of course, Velvet has the most. The Magilu and Eleanor and everyone else is very little. And then I realized, oh, there's probably an advantage to actually swapping everybody's gear a lot. And putting stuff on that, even though I personally think it's less effective, it might actually be more useful. Or it might be useful to an extent of, gosh, I can't get out of this. So I'm probably going to try to do that more often as the game goes on. Which is like, wait, you want to swap from using the most effective equipment to just random equipment because you got it? I'm like, oh yeah. And I'm gonna have to do it eventually.
This fight is over.
Because I imagine it's probably tied to an achievement or a trophy or something, and I do want to get more of them. So. Also, I feel like equipment doesn't like I look at the numbers going up for the weapons, and obviously it does mean stuff,
Hey,
but.
Laphicet, what's the Reaper's Curse Magilu was talking about?
Supposedly, Aizen's presence has the power to bring misfortune to the people around him.
Is that some sort of special Moloch power or something?
It's worse than mere misfortune. At Vortigern, there was a sudden mass outbreak of demon blight, and many of his fellow crew died on his watch.
I find that a little hard to believe, honestly.
The Reaper's curse is all too real. It was the Reaper's curse that tore me from you and got me captured by Miss Magilu.
Oh, is that so?
I missed you so much. The hazy halcyon days when I would glow on your cheek must be destiny that we've been reunited. How I wish I could return to your side once more.
Do what you want. I don't care.
Really?
I won't stop you. Maybe she wants a Moloch who freely divulges a young girl's secrets. I'm fine, thank you very much. I've already got Laphicet to look after as it is.
Aw, no fair! Is he the one who blows on your tears now when you cry?
He most certainly does not. And as of right now, you're a stranger to me. What?
Just so we're clear, Laphicet will do no blowing on any cheeks.
Of course not. I mean, not that it ever happened in the first place anyway. Just forget it.
Yet another victim of the Reaper's curse!
Guys, that was hilarious. Obviously, I mute my mic for skits, because, like, I mean, I don't usually say anything during skits. I usually enjoy them. At most, I chuckle, or like that, when Velvet started pulling Laphicet away from Eleanor, I laughed my ass off. But, like, yeah. It's mainly because, like, I love the skits so much, and I'm like, I would like anyone who's watching to enjoy them too, without having to hear me talk over it. They're really funny. They're great. Okay, so what has happened since I last streamed? I mean, not much. I finally finished Chris Tales on oh, there you go. Time you can't use items reduced by 12%. See, where can I see that thing that I was talking about so I can show what I was talking about? Yeah, here it is. So these are the ones that are from the equipment. Each of the individual pieces of equipment, like, see? You can see them on the right over there. I think that's what these are. Active skills. But these are from the weapons and stuff that you can learn and so on. You see the mastered icons on there? So from now on, I'm going to keep an eye out on stuff that is new and try to equip that over priority over what's more effective in terms of character stats. Because, I mean, I don't think I've ever had trouble in fights myself, so I should be fine. Sure, I put Magilu
I'll take the lead.
in the potty.
Oh, can't a witch get a little
No.
downtime?
Actually,
Why,
let's have her
certainly.
run on, because I haven't run around with Magilu yet. I haven't played as Magilu yet. Maybe I should, but I don't want to. Not right now, anyway. Oh yeah, I was looking at the fashion stuff because I bought a few more things. I played a few mini games at the port off stream, and then I got a few new fashion items, and I was looking at all of them because just for fun. Like obviously Fluffy Rapide. I've had this one already. I got it forever ago. It's really cute. Rapide from Berseria. But like I was looking at the other ones and I'm like, oh, these are funny. And then I saw this one. I was like, oh, this is actually really adorable. Just Saray on your head reading a book. I thought that was great. It's just a lot of them, and obviously all the text is like references to the characters, even the ones that I don't know. I just think they're great. Really nice little cute things. Rokuro was busy trying to fight this thing. Oh, okay. I was like, what does the demi-human give me? Blue Inferno is the answer.
Not bad. You too.
I think probably equipment mastery increases quicker if the character's actually in the party. I could be wrong though. I don't actually know what the ticks go up by. Maybe enemies killed? In which, I mean, if it was that case, it'd make a lot more sense as to why some characters don't have as many. Maybe I've changed the equipment before they master it.
Guess it's time to fight.
Jeez, every single time, huh? Jeez, for being so weak, these things are really annoying. Whoa. Oh, she threw that thing up really freaking high. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, that's a new move, or at least it's one I haven't seen as much. I haven't really messed with anyone's art setup yet. It's just when the characters learn new arts that
Don't waste my time.
sometimes they'll be randomly moved on their own over to where it, like, onto the flowchart, completely separated from my input. And I'm like, I'd rather it just be there, like in the default settings. And if I need to access any of the other arts that aren't on the 3 different flowcharts, then I can just use the X button, because that'll give me something random. Hope you like chocolate. There we go.
It appears that we're finished here.
Now Eleanor's leveled up. I wonder which way we're supposed to be heading.
Are you feeling all right?
Yes, for now at least.
I'm glad for that. But please remember, the Reaper's curse is no joke.
Is Ysult's curse even real? I'm having trouble believing in it.
You never know. Talk like that might give you a stomachache, or a blister, or a bug might fly into your mouth.
A bug?
Miss Muggy Lou, please stop making up things just to scare Madame Eleanor. Like when you said that 4 Navy warships tried to detain the Von Eltia and disappeared without a trace? Or that Eisen made a stopover on an island and the men there caught demon blight? Or that a man bumped into his shoulder and started laughing and died from suffocation?
Please stop. That's even more frightening.
That's a pack of lies. It was 7 warships. Everyone on the island, not just men, caught demon blight. And the guy who bumped into me died from hiccups.
Hold me.
But as far as the Corsair's Scourge goes, you don't need to worry. Just drink the Solitoma juice and you'll be fine.
Assuming they're in bloom.
Yeah, there is that.
I have a bad feeling about this.
You've got to be kidding me. I mean, hey, for all I know, Eisen's lying. Or bragging. But at the same time, I can never tell with him.
Always ready to fight.
Ooh.
I'll cut down anyone in my way.
Magilu level. I guess I can see that the skills haven't been mastered. So I'll give her a different doll for now. Since she already mastered that one. I'll do this one. And this is the other thing that I gave her yesterday. Yeah, okay, she seems to have mastered everything that she's holding on to. Or everything that I can alternately equip on her. What's this? Sure.
You'll be rust on my blade.
Dude, Velvet went up to 5. I don't even know what I have equipped that makes her blast gauge increase that much, but it's cool.
You really do have a peculiar air about you.
Yeah, I don't think you're one of
Oh yeah, by the way, I saw, once again, before I stopped streaming, not yesterday, Saturday, I looked at all the character stat sheets and blah blah blah. I was just looking around the menus and stuff, and I noticed that it looks like, I think Velvet on her next level is going to learn her second Mystic. So I guess you just get the second Mystics by leveling. Which I think was like one of my guesses as to when you got them. I can't remember if I said it out loud though. But yeah, it's odd though. I would expect like that to be like at a round number, like level 30, level 28, or something like that.
Really?
But I mean, then again, it didn't say a level. I think it just said next art. Oh, then I guess she. Oh, Rising Falcon, really? I see. Did she learn it? Yeah, there it is. Hold L2 during an 8-hit or higher combo. Consumes 4 blast gauge. Annihilating Crash. Yeah, I got it. So I guess everybody else will just learn their second Mystics as they fight. Which makes sense. Is anyone else coming on it soon? Earth Drake. Yeah, there. We got Magalu's Good Grip coming up next. Doesn't say next level, just next art. Because arts are obviously not learned by level. They're learned every few levels. Okay, well, I'm going to build up Velvet's blast gauge up to 8. I mean, up to 5 or whatever. And then we'll try to pull it off. Annihilating Crash. Which will show a bigger chunk of Velvet's full art splash, which is nice.
We're finished here.
Let's go.
Apparently Velvet got her own version of a launcher too. So instead of going up that direction, there's also a person standing at that path up top, so it's probably blocked off. Actually, it looks like the map connects, so I can go this way and I'll just loop around to the dungeon on the right. Also, that'll end with fighting the Code Red demon. I'm trying to remember the order of difficulty when it comes to enemies, and I think definitely it's like normal enemies, Code Red demons, savage encounters, and then dire foes. I think that's the hierarchy of difficulty.
I'm extra good at beating up the weak ones.
But I'm this close. I want this. Form zero.
Oh right, I finished Chris Tales. Oh my gosh, that ending wasn't worth it. I hated it. Like, I didn't hate the ending. I wasn't enjoying it. Let's see, do they say anything here about the Abbey? The Exes are holding exercises around Lothargan. No one is allowed until they're finished. Alright, whatever. See a cat soul over there that I want, though. Yeah, Chris Tales. I'm glad that I'm done with that game, so I don't have to force myself to play it anymore. As soon as I finished the game and the credits rolled, and it booted me back up to the start screen, I exited out of the game. I opened my Switch thing, I took the cartridge out, I put it in my case, and I replaced it with Smash Bros. And then I played Smash Bros. For about an hour. I was like, this is fun. I was very much not enjoying Chris Tales. The final boss, too, was... Oh, shit. There we go. It's happening. Oh, it's another Hangman. Really? Darn it. I was hoping not to lose a soul. Oh, what?
This is the Rangetsu style.
So that's the Rangetsu style?
No.
So then here is the Rangetsu style?
Just what do you think my style is?
Just, you know, we're not sure. That's why we're asking. So yeah, I was barely involved in that victory. I was like, maybe the fight will last long enough for me to build up the last blast gauge I need, but then I lost a soul, and I was like, it's not gonna happen. And then it died. To be fair, I think the Hangman was level 23, and I think the Potty right now is level 28. So I guess it makes sense as to why that was fast. I was gonna say easy, but given how much damage everyone was taking, it wasn't necessarily easy. Thing almost killed me. I feel like there's like two categories of dire foes. The dire foes that show up by themselves, which I think those exist. I could be wrong. It's just because dire foes spawn with the purple enemies that you can't kill. They're invincible, so, and they're just annoying. They're just there to ruin your day and make everything harder.
What's this? Are we?
Okay, I have 4 blast gauge. I can do it. I can't really do it on these guys because they're like not getting stunned. Maybe I can do it now? There we go. Nice. I remember having a hard time casting Magilu's second one. I eventually got it to work, but I remember it being difficult. Oh, she mastered the doll already? I guess we can swap to the Lulu doll, which is a cat. Yeah, this is mastered. This is not. Mastered, mastered, mastered. This is not. Okay. Just resetting everybody's stuff so that they're all learning new shit. Okay, everyone's done. Rad. It's like we're going back to Final Fantasy IX times, where I was obsessed with. I mean, that's kind of how Final Fantasy IX goes, because every piece of equipment in that game comes with skills attached to it that you can learn by wearing that equipment and then fighting with it. And that's Final Fantasy IX. That's how you learn your abilities. It becomes a real pain in the ass when you get like Amaranth super late in the game, and then like all the armor and stuff you have left over like in your inventory. Like, he can wear, like, almost all of it and learn something new out of all of it, so it takes a while to teach him all this stuff. Good times. Yeah, I recently played, not recently, actually, this was a long time ago. Months ago. Because I have Final Fantasy 789 on Switch. I beat 9. I think that's the first time I've ever beaten it. And then I beat 7, which I think is the second time I've beaten it. And I played 8 for about like 2-3 hours, and I haven't gone back to it. One of the games just stuck in backlog hell. I definitely do want to play more of it. Of course, because I'm playing Berseria now, and then after I beat Berseria, I'm playing Arise. It's like, when am I going to get to it? I think probably the best time to get to 8 would be now. Like when I'm not streaming, just play it. But like, I'm like, I don't want to. And also, mainly because I just started playing Wargroove again on Switch. Which when that game was first revealed, I was like, oh,
come on, really?
It's like a incapacitator. Nice. It's like a Advance Wars type game. And this is, of course, at a time. I mean, any time is a time with no new Advance Wars games. The first new Advance Wars game we're getting forever is coming out in December. And it's a remake of 1 and 2. But, like, at the time, I was like, oh, this is cool. It's like Advance Wars. It looks really, really nice. Like, the art style is really sweet. Looks cool. Wargroove.
Don't get careless.
I got it when it came out. I played it for I think like a week or two. I don't know. I stopped playing it and never played it again. I forget if I talked about this already. But so I started playing it again now and I'm enjoying it. Like I redid all the levels again so I could remember how to play it. And I'm hoping to get into the new stuff. I'll probably do that after I finish streaming this. I mean, he was almost dead, but you know, overkill.
That's the end for you. What an easy victory. I am invincible.
Sure you are, Magalu. Consummate Collector. I wonder what those titles are. Let me see. Incapacitator. Oh, for stunning enemies. 2,500 was the top one. And then a title for one who has collected numerous pieces of equipment from fallen foes. 700. Cool. That's a Code Red Demon over there. I see it.
On to battle.
I think I remember these enemies also being a pain in the butt back in Berseria when it came to like trying to stun them.
Did you think you could escape me?
That was quick. And I just saw that Rokuro learned Double Haze. New art. Cool. So he leveled up. Azraz C.
Scout ship set.
Still missing one thing in this area. Two things here. One thing here. And then we got a new area to explore. Cool. Do that next time. When I see a Direfo over there, we're gonna fight it. I just used up my blast gauge with Velvet though, so that's great. Direfo, Code Red Demon. Oh, it's a freaking.
A foe worth killing.
I hate these witches. I hate the giant pixie too. Because even the little pixies are super annoying. Oh, it's a stretchy cat. That's funny. Alright, stop guarding. What the heck was that? Was that us or was that it? Sometimes I just can't tell. Of course it has that attack. Oh, and it paralyzed me. Come on, y'all. Jump on it. Stop it from doing things. Stop guarding everything. Stop it.
Come on, put up some fight. Okay.
Ooh, 34 grade. Cool. I guess I go keep track of. I mean, I don't have to. I was about to say that I can tell which Code Red demons I beat and not over whether I get to keep the award I get from them or if I can't because I already have it. But then I remember that I can just look at the checklist because it keeps track of everything, including the ones I beat on my previous playthrough. So that's fine. I think that was a new lance for you. Yep. Alright, so we defeated that thing. We cleared this area out so we can move on to, forget what they called the forest. Warg Forest.
This must be the Warg Forest.
We need to be careful. There may well be exorcists around.
Oh yeah, it's a place with these dumb seals. This is not a Therian in this area, but it's some other kind of, what's it called? Demon that they for some reason sealed up in here behind all these barriers. It could just be that they're sealing up areas to try to find a way to contain it, since apparently they can't track it down because they're so incompetent.
This is a dual-layered barrier. It's the Abbey's new invention.
So it's two barriers working in tandem then.
That sure sounds like a hell of a lot of trouble just to stop people from coming in.
It really does.
The barriers are not easily dispelled, but operating switches activate. If a barrier is in your way, find a switch to the proper element to flip it. Yeah, it disables that one, and then in turn enables another one. Right, I remember. Did I open that cat chest back in Reneed Port? I don't think I did. I'll go back and do that, obviously.
Tails again, huh? That Reaper's curse of yours is consistent, if nothing else.
The curse even affects coin flips?
Seems that way.
Amalok's powers affect physical objects and can, at times, even synchronize with their wavelengths.
And in your case, it's that coin?
Yeah. That's why it always comes up tails.
You must forgive my skepticism.
Whether you choose to believe it or not is really up to you.
It might be worth noting that coin is also Eisen's vessel.
So is that wavelength business the reason why Laphicet always has that compass around him?
That's part of it, but in another sense, it's a kind of proof of his manhood.
Proof of his manhood?
Must polish you so you don't rust.
That doesn't make any sense.
For a praetor, you really don't know that much about the world, do you?
Oh gosh, Laphicet. That was pretty adorable. Oh, is this the Rokuro and Eisen coin flipping one? Or I think that one's later, unfortunately. Yeah, I think that one's later. Gosh, that's one of my favorite
Abby
skits.
needs to know about this. I'll have to investigate further. A coin that always comes up tails. Can Amalek's influence extend so far?
I see you're a woman of deep skepticism.
I know it's hard to believe, but Eisen's coin really does only come up tails.
Wait a minute. Are you using some sort of trick on it, Magilu?
Oh, your gaze falls on me then?
Well, I am a woman of deep skepticism.
And one who holds grudges too, apparently. But no, I don't have anything to do with it. In fact, I tried a little spell to make it come up heads, and it wouldn't take hold.
The coin's not gimmicked. There's no trick. See for yourself if you like.
This is the Demon Lord Daus.
Good eye. It's from Carl.
It's from Carlin. I've never seen an authentic specimen. It's incredibly ancient, and yet it looks freshly minted.
There's a reason for that. Gold is normally soft, but they found a way to harden.
I know! They cover the surface of a softer metal with a heat-reactive shaped memory alloy. That's what makes it hard to scratch.
Right.
It's a technique no one alive can duplicate, and it makes any trickery impossible. I might just have to believe in this curse of yours after all.
I thought you said they had made the surface itself harder, not covered it with something else.
I think you're mistaken.
No, I swear you said...
Let's just leave it at that.
Okay.
Shape memory alloy. That's how they did it.
Oh, Eisen, he gets sad when he doesn't get to explain and lore dump. That's funny. I took a quick look at my viewer thing. I was gonna say, see Termilinium's name again, and Droop Dog. Hola.
Well then, let's move on.
It's pretty obvious from, I guess, now looking at how many skills the characters have mastered and not mastered, that my reliance on going only with blue stats is why everything is so low. So I'm definitely trying to change that up now. So I think at the end of the stream, when I get to a store that I can re-equip everyone, I'll make sure to buy stuff that they don't have mastered, or focus on that. Because like, while the gear might be weaker in the broadest sense of the term, I can at least enhance it so that whatever specializations the gear has will be even more prominent. So even though this specific gear that I may equip has less defense, it makes up for it with a lot more like magic attacks or something. I'm just gonna try to vary what I equip on people now so I can learn more stuff.
Stop fooling around.
But I'm serious about my
Arctic peels? I think that's supposed to say pearls. I noticed that when I saw as his next skill he was gonna learn. Just didn't say anything, but I was like, maybe it's just maybe I'm just looking at it wrong. No, that is misspelled. That is indeed misspelled. Unless peels is a word. I don't think it is.
I'm ready for this.
It's my favorite Reaper's Curse related skit is specifically, like, I think the whole party's there, or at least most of them, but it's specifically centered around Rokuro and Aizen. Because it's Rokuro trying to find a way to get Aizen's coin to land on heads. And it's really funny. Like, it's ridiculously... It shows the full extent of how ridiculous his Reaper's Curse is. Oops. That was a mistake.
Come on, really?
So I can't wait to get to that skit. If I recall correctly, I remember getting that skit while I was on the port in Titania. So it might be a while yet before the skit pops up. But, yay. I am excited. I kind of wish there was a way that they could, like, identify if you've already watched the skit or not. Like, if the triangle comes up.
So what does this Solitoma flower look like exactly?
Maybe the icon's a different color for new ones.
The flower itself is purple with leaves and stem of maroon.
An ugly flower. All right, I'll keep an eye out.
I actually remember the fake coin skit. Really funny. Yeah, I like it. It's a really good one.
By the way, do you know what Solitoma means in the language of flowers?
Was it deceitful coexistence? What's with that? Even its symbolism is awful.
Deceitful coexistence.
The perfect flower for us.
What's wrong, Luffy said?
Magilu is right, isn't she?
Could be. Eleanor is from the Abbey. I'm not sure that someone like that would ever genuinely want to make friends with us.
That's what I thought.
But it's not all quarrels between us. There's commonalities, I guess you could call it. We share common ground.
Deceitful coexistence doesn't trouble me at all. I'll always be here for you, Madam Eleanor. You and I shared an eternal vow that binds us together.
All I did was make a pact to tether you. I'd appreciate it if you didn't talk about it in a way that could create the wrong impression.
Madam Eleanor, you're so cold.
Try your eyes, Bienfu. You still have me, don't you?
Oh, Miss Magilu, you're the only one for me, honest.
Good, good. Now think hard on my kindness and do as you're told.
Yes, ma'am. I'll just have to hang in there until I find a new love.
Laphicet, think about deceitful coexistence this way.
Demon, exorcist, Moloch, pirate, witch. We're never going to be a single cohesive unit. But each of us understands where the others are coming from in a way that's very real.
So it's not really a deception.
Yeah, not really. I think selfish coexistence might make the better fit.
Maybe so.
Yeah, everyone's here for their own selfish reasons. It's just that, like, hey, if I hang out with these people, they'll help me achieve my selfish goal. So I'll help them achieve their selfish goal. So on and so on. I was just trying to remember what others. I think every Tales game has a skit that I really enjoy, or that I remember. I know for Tales of Symphonia, my favorite one from that game is the one where you're headed to fight Luna and Asuka, the Summon Spirits of Light. Because you have to return to the Tower of Mana, which is a dungeon that you completed in the game a long time ago at this point. And on your way up the tower, you get a skit where I think it's Regal and Rain are talking to Lloyd, and Regal's like, hey, that's weird. All the puzzles in this dungeon have already been solved. And Rain's like, yeah, because we were already here. And Lloyd gets annoyed because he's like, I can't believe we have to walk all the way up this tower again. And he's like, well, what do you expect? We can't land the reards on the top. There's not enough room. And he's like, yeah, I know. I just kind of wish they gave us a quick jump option. And Regal is like, quick jump? What is that? And Lloyd just responds by saying, never mind.
Come on, really?
And I just, like, it makes me laugh every time. Which, for reference, even though I think the name is obvious, the quick jump option in Symphonia comes up specifically to avoid you having to retread certain areas that you just cleared. For example, there's a village that the only way to get to it is by going through a forest. And the first time you go through the forest is kind of annoying. I don't actually like that area. And if it's quite a decent walk to get into the town, but after you do it the first time, every time you return to the forest, it says, hey, you just want to skip to the town? And you're like, yes. So that's a quick jump, where it just take you from one area to the other. And Lloyd wished there was one to get to the top of the tower. Of course, there isn't, because before you reach the top, a bunch of story important stuff happens, but still, really funny. Tales of the Abyss, I'm trying to remember. There's a bunch of skits. Any skit that has Guy and Jade in it's probably great in Tales of the Abyss. Also home to the famous Guy Explain, which I love every single time that happens. One thing I did like, I actually completed the Collector's Book in Tales of the Abyss, which is the only Tales game that I've ever completed the Collector's Book in. After you get it done, you get a skit in which Luke is talking about how he's like, wow, it's finally done. and I forget who else is in the skit, but they suggest selling it since it's complete. And Luke's like, no! After all the time and effort I put into completing this, absolutely not, we're keeping it. Which I just think is funny.
Did you see my complete and utter victory?
I was actually looking at the chat, so I missed it. Really wish the Tales of the Abyss skits had... Yeah, I know, I wish Tales of the Abyss and Symphonia had voice acting. Do you remember if Berseria has voice acting? I honestly can't... I think it does. Yeah, it does, it does, it does. It's been a while since I played Berseria, but I'm pretty sure it does. Which way are we going? Right, I know which way we're going. I think, yeah, Symphonia and Abyss are the only ones that I've played that don't have voice acting. And I think they're the only ones that don't. I think everything else released after Abyss has voice acting in the skits. I could be wrong, though. I know when I played Tales of Symphonia 2, I was like, oh, what? They have voice acting? That's cool. Of course, it sucks that of course, the bad part about that is Tales of Symphonia 2 sucks ass. But, yeah.
Even a short weapon is effective up close.
And training can help it get even closer.
Mine gets as long as I want it to be.
I just love that Magalu's current weapon is a long cat. She's fighting with a meme. Would be cool if Abyss got I fucking wish. Like, I want to play...
Those purple leaves belong
Ew.
to a salatoma. Be on the lookout for the ugly flowers.
Ugly purple flowers. Got it.
Yeah, gosh, I want to play Tales of the Abyss again so bad. Playing Symphonia on Steam again was a blast. I want to play Tales of the Abyss again. I have the 3DS version. I bought it and I played through it on my own, beat it. I gave it to my sister when I moved out. My younger, it was one of I think 3 or 4 3DS games I gave her. So I haven't played it since, obviously, so she has it. Oh, can I pull off the thing again? Let's see. There we go. Yay, second mistake. I remember having a hard time pulling off Velvet's third as well, even though, like, it should technically be really easy to do. You just need to, I think it's a 12-hit combo that you need to lead into. And obviously to get that many hits, it's either rely on the computers timing their attacks with you, or just use her claw to reset your combo counter and build up to it. But I remember for some reason it just wouldn't take, which is really strange. Like, I'm like, wait, I just hit like 20 hits with Velvet on her own, but it jumps either into her first or her second. And I'm like, why isn't it doing her third? I had the blast gauge for it, too. I made sure of it. I wouldn't make a mistake like that. I think there might be another condition for hers that I forget. I think actually it's just a matter of range. Maybe my last hit just didn't connect with the enemy because they keep getting knocked back. Actually, I really hope Tales of the Abyss gets a release on Steam. And if not on Steam, just somewhere else that I could play it again. The 3DS version of Abyss was a lot of fun. The issue is that I think I got it and played it not long after I completed Tales of the Abyss on PS2, and so the issue simply became Oh, that's new. A waistcoat so dark, you feel your soul being sucked into it when you lay eyes upon it. It says it in name, really. Cool. I'm getting a lot of new gear, probably because of one of the things I bought from the grade shop. Because like when you complete the collector's book in Tales of the Abyss, you unlock a secret store. In what's it called? Not Batical, the other one. The one that Jade's from, that Peony is in control of. I don't remember the name of the other kingdom. Usually it's Batical's the name I forget, and I remember Peony and Jade's kingdom. It's not coming to me. But that water kingdom, that one there's a secret store opens up there in front of the inn. There's a guy you can talk to, and he sells everything. It took me quite a few playthroughs to complete the book. And by everything I mean he sells like all the different kinds of gels, all the different kinds of he even sells chambers. So you can buy as many like sunlight chambers as you want, which are the things that make FOF changes a lot easier to do. So yeah, when I unlocked the dude, I bought a bunch of sunlight chambers and I put them on a bunch of different arts. He also sells specifics and treats, miracle gels, just everything that is like not sold anywhere else in the game. He has it. Yeah, the only way to get that secret store is to complete the collector's book.
Come on, really?
Oh. Well then if the star is down there, that means that's where I have to go, so I'm gonna go a different way. Do some explorating.
On to battle.
That's really cool.
It appears that we're finished here.
Looks like everyone's mastering some of their equipment. Where do we get?
Scout ship settings.
We'll move on to the next area when the ship levels up again. I don't even know if I've completed the monster lists in any Tales game. I want to say I completed it in Symphonia, but I don't remember. On the GameCube, at least. Given that I played Symphonia like 10 times on the GameCube, I better have. I don't remember. I think I did it in Abyss too, actually. I think for sure I probably did it in Abyss. What else? And Tales of Symphonia also has the freaking not the figurine book, which is really annoying. I think my favorite thing about the figurine book is that like the rarity of the pellets that you give Dirk to make a figurine, like the rarer the pellet is, the chances you'll get a rare figurine from it, but you can also get like the cheap common ones, right? The thing is though that the game will never do duplicates, which is nice, fortunate. So that means that if you get all the common figurines, then you can spend all your rare stuff and you'll be guaranteed to only get the rare stuff. So like that's the nice thing about it. The hard thing about it is that the pellets you need to make the figurines are very rare. Which the figurine book is just a it's It's like a monster list, but it's only for NPCs. So it just has the character models of the NPCs in the game, all the villagers and everything that you can look at. It even has animals. There's like a pigeon in it, cats in it. Never completed it. Because of the way that Symphonia is set up, the only way to complete the figurine book is 2 playthroughs, obviously. And I guess most games are like that. Most of the Tales of games are like that, since the bonus dungeon is usually locked behind the second playthrough. Usually, in Symphonia, the bonus dungeon is not locked behind the second playthrough, but you might as well be because it's too hard to do on the first playthrough. And it has unique enemies and bosses in it. I don't want to switch to Magilou, but, you know, I mean, I've played as everybody else. I guess it's only fair. If I switch to Laphicet later, too. Okay, so if I want to fight that thing, I need the red switch. Where's the red switch? I think I'll wait after I beat that Code Red DM before swapping to Magilou. Let's hope we don't have any more weird frame drop things. On Saturday when I was streaming that surprise unexpected stream that I didn't plan at all, there was a point where the KBS just dropped on OBS, which normally shows a green block. It dropped to red and it stood like that for a few seconds. And I was just like really confused because I'm like, it's been good this whole time. Like, why is it messing up now? Alright. Should disable the red barrier that's in front of the Code Red Demon so I can fight it. Yes. Oh, whoa. Not what I thought it was a bird, and I'm like, oh no, it's a plant. Hello, plant man.
Are we ready for this?
It's level 33. Ooh, that's a... So there we go, opened it up. Just in time for Eleanor to use that opening. And didn't do much damage at all. It's just, oh, it's so freaking flippy. Alright, you, come on. It seems like no one is busting through this guy. And every time that he does get exposed with a weak hit, it's like immediately covers himself again. There we go. That feels good. Break boost, that's what that one is. I think is it wind that this thing's weak against? It is. Right, so Eisen probably would have been a good call at the very beginning. Yes, I was almost dead. Almost dead. Okay, Master of Arms, I get it, because he plays with... Alright, Equipment Mastery. Cool. That wasn't too bad, just kind of annoying. That thing was, not letting me hit it. Level 33, huh? Yeah, it's 3 levels higher than us. It's fine. What's everything? I keep forgetting to talk about Chris Tales because I mentioned that I beat it and I mentioned that I hated it and blah 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 blah. But I wanted to go into specifics. I thought the final boss was just pretty whatever. Like it was kind of annoying to fight. I just didn't like it. He had this habit of like the closer he got to death, he would keep using this move that reduces all your character's HP to 1. And then if you don't heal, his next move is an AoE attack to hit everybody. And like I gamed over like 2 or 3 times because the only character of mine that has an AoE heal, for some reason she would always fall behind his second turn, even though just before she was going before him. So it's just nonsense. So I kept falling for that trap, and I was like, that's not fair at all.
I'll be up
I don't need you up front, boy.
I have to fight too.
If I'm in this 100%.
Yeah, my time to shine.
Shall we be off, my morbid
There we go,
menagerie?
everybody. Boring final boss for a game that was like, that got to be incredibly boring, and I didn't like it, and I was mad. Well, not mad, I was just like, mostly disappointed. By the end of it, I'm just like, whatever, I finished it, I don't need to play it again. Although I did find out, because I was curious, I went on to, I was looking up guides for the game, because I was like, how many side quests are in this game? Because like, for the first town that you start in for the beginning of the game, there's no side quests there, obviously. I think there's one to use as a base for how side quests work, I could be wrong though. But for the second town, where the game really opens up, there were 3, I think. For the third town, there was 1. For the fourth town, there was 3. There was 2, I think. And then for the last town, there was none. And I was like, that's weird. There's like no side quests in this. There's like 6 side quests in this game. What was the point of side quests if you're only going to put that many? So I looked it up, and apparently, I just missed like most of the side quests. Alright, I'm trying to remember. She's a spellcaster, but like, I'm like, where are her bright? I know where they are. Gonna smack you with a long cat. Well, when they're not doing that. Yeah, Magalu's weird. I gotta get used to her again. I forgot how she works. I'm trying to open the map. Okay, I see. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's some marks she just doesn't have on, huh? So I will turn them on then. I don't see Dryad. Is Twin Spirits on here? No, it is not. I see Great Cycle. Spirit Beads? Nope. Atmos Glaive up here. Is there gliding? Was it gliding blast? It is. Okay. Just trying to figure it out. I'm trying to remember how she works. I don't know. I'm unaware. There's the cat chest. I had a feeling there was one in here. I mean, obviously there is. They're everywhere. Shiba Inu tail. I have that already. That's fine. It's weird that they let you carry over the cat spirits you were holding at the end of the previous game, but not like the cat boxes that you opened. It's not like they give anything different. They just give you duplicates of what you already have. What is her? She has a weird bar under her blast gauge. I mean, under her break souls. I have no idea what that is for.
I unleashed all my power. Maybe I overdid.
I don't know what that bar is for. Oh, great. Exorcist. What are you guys doing here?
You there! What do you think you're
I asked
doing
that
here?
first.
We could ask the same of you.
Didn't actually know that was what he said, or what he was going to say. Jeez. It's like every time we fight you guys, it just gets easier to take you out.
Going on back there? They didn't look like they were demon hunting.
Are you making that move? No, it just did it by itself.
He's in sync with his compass, just like Aizen and his coin.
Aizen, you're an Earth Moloch, right? Do you sense anything around here?
No, I don't. It seems Laphicet's senses are sharper than mine.
It stopped, but something still feels wrong.
Like what?
It kind of feels like when we got sealed inside that Earth Pulse.
So a force similar to Inominat's power? I'm starting to think this may be no ordinary demon we're dealing with here.
Is it actually a Therian that we find here? I can't remember. Might be. I always assume we saved all the Therians except the last one. We're almost there.
On to battle! But I'm this close, I won't miss! Form zero!
Was that supposed to be a joke?
Maybe. Why, did she learn it yet or not? No, she hasn't. Okay. Because the next art she's learning is her next mystic. Ow. probably what the gliding attack is. Slide around on her giant card. Or her guardian, or whatever she calls it.
Sorry to cut you down.
Right, our next step is to find a way to the last area. I think next up we got the boss, which for some reason I think is a big plant. I mean, we're in the forest. But I think maybe the Code Red Demon covered the whole big plant thing already, so might be something different.
Time to dish out
Yeah, the way she moves when she swings that thing around for some of her moves reminds me of Annis. It's kind of one of the reasons I didn't like playing as Annis, because I just felt her attacks were so slow and awkward. Similar with Carol.
Yep, it's a whimsical wonderland over here.
And Berseria. I'm just more used to wanting to fight faster. It could be remedied if the characters were fast, but they're so slow. Carol especially. It takes them years to run across the battlefield. I'm just like, alright, I'm not doing this. There's a save point here. I wonder what that means. Probably boss time. Which is giant evil thing. Oh, thank you. I pick up items so quickly I don't actually know if I'm like full on anything or not.
It looks like a dead end up ahead. Laphicet, do you feel anything here?
No, not right now.
Okay. There's definitely something here. I just don't remember what it is. And we found the flowers, so that's all that matters. Look, we can just leave, right?
Flowers.
Yep, Salatoma.
Is the demon the real reason the Abbey's closed off the forest?
Worry about it later. It's flower picking time.
Agreed.
What do you think, kiddo? I told you these things were hard on the eyes. I mean, who puts those colors together?
Yeah, they're really nasty looking. But if they help the others, that's good enough for me.
Laphicet!
This must be the demon we were warned about.
Are you all right?
I'm okay.
So much for this demon being hard to find. Is this the Reaper's curse yet again?
We're just getting started.
Another barrier! That barrier. Even my Praetor hearts can't break that. What's going on here? Why go to such lengths to keep this demon alive?
Either way, I don't think we're hauling home any flowers unless we beat up Mr. Bugglesworth here.
Right. Everyone, let's do this!
Well, now I feel bad. I forgot about this Therian, the beetle. Or the thick jaw beetle.
This thing is so cool. I want to be a bug.
Stop fantasizing. Gosh, once again, thanks, Aizen, for interrupting that. Where the heck are you going? Come back. Freaking beetle. I honestly can't believe I forgot about it. I actually mixed up the two commands. I was like, wait, what's the break soul one? Why am I not breaking any of the souls? And I'm like, oh, it's R. L is the mystic art one. I don't know how I forgot the thing I've been doing this entire time, but I forgot it. Oof. Lassie sit there with the save. Gosh, it's really funny the way it flies around. Find that amusing. If I remember correctly, there was something I did to help. Right, here we go. Gosh, it doesn't really cure a lot now, does it? Oh, now I remember what hers does. Okay, I remember now. When enemies are casting spells, she can absorb them. That's what it was. Okay, I see. Well, unless they get cast instantly like that. Yeah, I went into the wrong boss fight with... I really shouldn't go into boss fights or anything important with characters I don't play as. It's a very obvious rule. Got it eventually, though. It's just a beetle. Just beating the crap out of a beetle.
Insect collecting is a sweatier hobby than I thought.
Look! Can we keep him?
No, hand it over. I'll dispose of it.
Aww.
The Abbey had some reason for protecting it. Maybe we should keep it alive for observation.
You want it, you feed it.
I will! I'll take care of him.
Anyway, now that we've got these flowers, Eleanor and my crew ought to be out of danger.
Hey! Forgetting somebody?
It looks like we've closed the door on this little episode. That insect demon was a bit of a surprise, but I still think this curse business is overblown.
I can count on one hand how many have survived more than 3 years at my side. If you're not careful, you might wind up as corpse number 50.
50?
That's how many comrades I've lost.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Just saying, don't let your guard down.
Right. Now that we've got what we need, We should get back to the ship.
Right. Gosh, I was like, is it a Therian? I forget when the Therians are introduced. Like, oh.
I wonder what they call this kind of bug.
You're way into that thing, aren't you?
Yep. That bug collecting thing is a thing that I don't understand, but it comes up a lot in RPGs. And that's why Pokemon exists. Still find it very amusing. Especially with the beetles. People love beetles. Admittedly, they're very cool looking. Alright, so we got the big beetle that definitely isn't important to the plot moving forward, which is nice.
Lappy said, "Can I ask you a bit of an
Oh,
awkward
wait.
question?
Skit. Every time.
Kind of demon would you say Velvet is?"
Well...
Oh, don't worry. I'm not trying to find a vulnerability or anything. I'm only asking out of curiosity.
It's not that I doubt you, Eleanor. I just don't know much about her myself.
You fought against her, haven't you? She consumes her enemies with her left hand and claims their power. She's a demon like absolutely no other. Plunk just about any demon down in front of her, and I bet she could devour it in a single gulp.
Yeah, I'd say that's pretty much true. Sometimes demons that she doesn't entirely devour turn human again, but...
What? You've seen demons turn back into humans?
Is it that big of a deal?
Of course it is! Everyone knows that once you catch Demon Blight, that's it. There's no turning back. Although, I did see it happen with the High Priest Gideon. I wonder if there's some kind of connection.
Not that it matters if he turned back, demon or not, he's dead either way.
Whatever it is, it's of no concern to a pirate.
If I were you, I wouldn't worry about what's normal. If things were normal, we wouldn't have found each other.
You have a point.
Sorry I couldn't help, Eleanor.
No, you didn't do anything wrong. But I need to keep digging until I find out more about the kind of demon Velvet is.
The beetle's like, I have all the answers. Anyone want to ask me? No? Alright. Alright, so we played as Maggie for 20 minutes. I'm good. Let's swap to someone else.
Me? Are you sure?
We'll try Laphicet now. Oh wow. Yeah, I'll do that. Also, he hasn't mastered it, so I'll definitely put it on. Anything else? Okay, he needs to master the shock ward. Any boots? Spiked shoes. Sure. Alright. Rokuro. Let's check out what's up with you, boy. Here you go with the shoes. Oh, these are the shoes. You're still good with them. Flame ward. Oh, he's still learning it. Waistcoats. Obviously, you guys are all gonna have to share the jet black waistcoat when the time comes. Okay, Mr. Eisenman. And Magilu. Oh, the stuff she... Ooh, actually, I didn't notice those were different down here. Shock ward. She did master that one. Aqua ring, Floric garment, Silky touch garment. Do. How does everybody feel about all your new equipment? I'm no longer even looking at the stats of what it changes. I'm just putting it on if they haven't mastered it yet. Cassandra Sash. Oh, that's not mastered yet. Okay, cool. Easy peasy. Now we just need to leave.
Don't get careless.
I have no idea why Laphicet in the menu still sounds like Moloch number 2, but sure. That attack looks really cool. I really like it.
That wasn't worth the effort.
And Velvet learned Rising Falcon. Awesome. Wow, really? Just immediately started the battle and got killed by everything.
Nothing can stop these
Shock
fists.
drum. That attack was cool too. Just all the attacks in general look pretty rad. Let's go, Laphicet. Let's go. Hopefully you won't get your butt kicked in the next fight. I was say there's still one more treasure chest here. Where? Here it is. Got another shock ward. Kaleidos Ray, that's what it's called.
Victory is ours.
I'm gonna look that up actually. I should have done this for Magalu too before I fought with her. Let me see, Laphicet. Hold right. Halves all damage taken for 5 seconds, after which HP will be restored for all allies. This ability not only protects Laphicet from perilous attacks, but can also help out the party in a pinch. Oh, that's cool. During Divide Pain, extends the duration of Divide Pain and for 4 seconds prevents status ailments on enemies from ending. Increases stagger time and slows... Ah, that's cool. Of course, I would need a lot more souls to do that. Let me look at Magilu's. What's her do? Hold R2 while staying. The combo following this move cannot be guarded against. This ability interrupts all enemies who are in the middle of casting and absorbs mana from the interrupted arts. The mana absorbed is shown by the yellow-orange to the left-right. Once enough mana is collected, Magalu will unleash a counter spell. That's what it was. I think her third one activates. You have to do it off of Tetra Detonator. But like, so when Magula's gauge fills up, she'll counterattack with an art. It has to be Tetra Detonator in order to jump into her third Mystic. If I'm not mistaken. I think I'm remembering this correctly. The issue is that I don't, like, I've never seen Tetra Detonator, so it doesn't know what it looks like. The game in fights can be really chaotic. And all that. And I don't know if she's ever used it. She's used Tetra Detonator, but I've definitely missed it.
It looks pretty tough. Yeah, I've been around a long time, but I've never seen anything like it.
It must be a new species.
Incredible.
A new species is usually named after the person who discovered it. The Laphicet rhinoceros beetle, then?
Rhinoceros beetle? Whoa, now, that's a stag beetle if I ever saw one.
No. Those things may look like pincers, but they're actually horns. A three-horned beetle will cause quite a stir in the bug community.
Hey, I know pincers when I see them, and those were some mighty pincers. The Laphicet stag beetle has a better ring to it, right?
What part of that sounds better?
The whole thing. Stag beetles are the strongest, after all.
I can't let that go unchallenged. The rhinoceros is the king of beetledom.
Beetledom? More like beetle dumb.
Huh? That doesn't help your case at all.
Rokuro, Aizen.
I feel a dangerous storm brewing.
The rhino is a one-trick pony with its horn, but a stag can cut its opponents in half. Its weapons can be used in any situation. The stag is a true swordsman.
That's petty trickery. The only beetle with the raw muscle to decide its own fate is the rhino.
But they only live for a year. The stag can survive through the winter.
They live hard and die young. Is the beauty of such a life lost on you?
Why is it that boys get so excited when they talk about bugs?
Rhinoceros, stag, or butterfly. It's all no matter to me.
They all look like cockroaches.
They're totally different.
So, what will you name it?
I think Rhinostagros for now.
Fuck, I forgot about that skit. I knew there was some bug-related skits coming up now that we have the beetle. I forgot about that one. That one's fan-fucking-tastic. I love it. Dazzle in Zestiria acts the same way around bugs. I think specifically beetles too. I could be wrong though. But as all the girls say, boys and their bugs. They get so mad at each other too that they were actually yelling. I think that's like not counting Rokuro's freak out when Aizen tries when Laphicet tries to help him in the fight against Kurogane. They were like legit angry, and it's so great. Out of all the things for them to get angry about, it's a beetle.
Salatoma flowers smell so sweet, like raspberries.
Let me smell. Oh, they smell tasty.
Do they really taste that bad?
They lure you in with their scent, but once that flower hits your tongue, its flavor transforms into something dreadful.
Dreadful like how?
The petals melt into a liquid thousands of times stronger than mint, and the leaves and stem taste richer than the richest beef tongue. The two flavors clash and fizz on your tongue, and your whole body is racked with choking pain.
What?
Seriously?
That's what Ifrit told me anyway.
It's actually true. That's exactly what it's like.
You've tasted it before, haven't you? Is there any way around it?
You can squeeze it, boil it, mix it with honey, but nothing gets rid of the taste. Trying to mix it or sweeten it makes it even harder for some to swallow.
Have you taken yours?
No, I'll do it once I'm back on the ship with the pirates.
Wait, are you the type that puts off unpleasant tasks?
Not at all. I simply cannot be the first to drink it when others are still waiting for us to deliver their doses.
You do know that you'll have to drink double the dose after you start displaying the symptoms, right?
Are you certain?
Quit being so stubborn. It'd be better if you just got it over with.
And you've taken your dose?
Nah, I don't need to. Having a tethered Moloch drink it is enough to absorb its effects.
But to a Moloch, it tastes...
Yes, the cuter you are, the worse it tastes. It's good to be an exorcist, eh, Eleanor?
Do I have to drink it?
Of course not. I'll suffer through my own dose of Salatoma.
Oh, poo. How dull. Whew.
To be fair, how many times have you held a cup of medicine, like in front of you, and just stood there, staring at it, trying to hype yourself up to swallow it? All the time with me when I used to take liquid medicine. All the time. I'd just be like, I'm doing it now. I'm doing it now. Count to 3. 1, 2, 3, and then swallow it. 1, 2, 3. I don't swallow it. Like, I had so many issues. I hated liquid medicine. Nowadays, I've learned how to swallow pills, so all the medicine I take is pills. Or gel capsules or whatever. A million times easier and a million times better than liquid medicine. To be fair, the first time I tried to take a pill, it took me forever to swallow it. Like, it was really hard. But I've gotten used to it. I can do it now, like, no problem whatsoever.
I was amazing.
Like, gosh dang. Liquid medicine sucks, and something I don't miss. It doesn't matter what flavor it was either. Did they try to flavor it to make it taste better for you? Nah, it sucked every time. Ah, they're still here, huh? Not gonna punch him again?
You think there's any chance that wanted Moloch would launch an attack here?
His target's probably Loringen, but stay sharp just in case. He might try to break open the bug cage as a diversion.
Wanted Moloch? Loringen?
First that demon Rex Helavis, and then Eleanor betrays us? We're never gonna catch a break.
Quit whining. Cleaning up messes is our job.
Looks like our Abbey buddies are up to something.
And the bug cage. That barrier, I assume?
If so, it won't be long before they find out we broke in.
Then we should make our exit while we can.
Lowrigan, huh? Alright. Is my expedition back yet? 10 minutes. Crow's special quiche. Alright, her last name's Crow. I forgot. Oh, Eleanor's the lowest, so we'll give it to her. Yeah, focus.
I'm finished. This should be alright.
Ah, yes. And if I want to make some substantial progress in the game, I should probably just quick jump out of this dungeon. But, like, I like fighting and it's fun. And also the exit's right there, so what does it matter? Is Loringen where, I was wondering why the teleporter was not at the exit of the dungeon. It was at the halfway point. I was like, huh? It's like, oh, because there's a cutscene on the way out, so they need to make sure you don't miss it.